Good morning, student. In the last three lecture, we have understand the concept of SVS, static var compensator system. So just summarize this fax device, which is called as a SVC, and combination with the power system that is called as a SVS, static var system. So this is a combination of SVC and mechanically switched capacitor and reactors whose outputs are coordinated. So there are different types of SVC, static var compensator. So first we have discussed the thyristor control reactor, which provide the lagging reactive power. It means that they absorb the reactive power based on the firing angle control of the thyristor. Then fixed capacitor, thyristor control reactor. They provide the fixed amount of the reactive power injection. So fixed capacitor that is connected with the system, and thyristor control reactor concept same as the TCR. Then MSC TCR, mechanically switched capacitor thyristor control reactor. So here in this case, the capacitor is switched by the mechanical switch, like conventional mechanical switch or maybe by the circuit breaker. Then after we discuss the TSC TCR, thyristor switch capacitor thyristor control reactor. So this is a combination of this TCR and thyristor switch capacitor. So in this case, the capacitor is switched by using the thyristor, same like a anti-parallel thyristor, which is connected in series with the capacitor. Then thyristor switch reactor, that is same as the thyristor switch capacitor. So thyristor switch reactor that connects by the anti-parallel connection of the thyristor. So the difference between thyristor control reactor and thyristor switch reactor is that in the thyristor control reactor, we vary the reactive power absorption or lagging reactive power by vary the firing angle control of the thyristor. But in the thyristor switch reactor, we cannot change the firing angle. We just connect or disconnect the reactor by using the anti-parallel connection of the thyristor. So that is the difference between thyristor control reactor and thyristor switch reactor. So we have already discussed this one by one. We have first discussed the power system characteristics, SVC, SVS characteristics, static var system characteristics. This is the power system characteristics. Then we compare this power system characteristic with the SVS characteristics, and then we set the operating point based on the different operating condition like high loading condition, light loading condition, high loading condition, and normal condition. So based on the loading condition, operating point is decided. Operating point is the intersecting point of the SVS characteristic and power system characteristics. So this is a concept of how by adding the capacitor into the system, we can extend the range of this SVS system in the capacitive mode. Then we understand thyristor control reactor with the waveform. Then voltage versus current graph. Different types of configuration, 6 pulse, 12 pulse thyristor control reactor, advantages, disadvantages of thyristor control reactor. Then after thyristor switch capacitor, different configuration, single phase configuration, then this is a delta connected 3-phase configuration. Switching operation of this VI characteristic of the TSC, then its operating characteristics, combination with the power system characteristics. Then after we see the fixed capacitor thyristor control reactor, this is single line diagram. Then its reactive power demand was the output characteristics. We have seen in the last lecture drawback of FCTCR. And then mechanical switch capacitor thyristor control reactor. And then TSC TCR thyristor switch capacitor thyristor control reactor. Same way, reactive power generation demand was a reactive power output characteristic. This is a configuration and this is a reactive power demand was a reactive power output characteristics of the TSC TCR. Then is control, VI characteristics, and then last lecture we have discussed the MATLAB simulation of SVC, which we have 1 TCR and 3 TSC. So we understand that how the how SVC provide the voltage regulation at different voltage level for a high voltage condition or low voltage condition as compared to this rated value. So this waveform we have understand in the last practical number 4, last lecture. And this is a complete diagram of the SVC. You can see here this is a combination of one thyristor control reactor, one thyristor switch capacitor, mechanically switched capacitor, and harmonic filter. The function of this harmonic filter is to consume the harmonics or to avoid the harmonics injection into the grid, which is generated by this thyristor control reactor as well as thyristor switch capacitor. So this harmonic filter out the harmonic generated by this controller, and here this is a mechanical switch reactor that act as a thyristor switch reactor. This may be a mechanically switch or this may be a thyristor switch reactor. So this combination of this TCR TSC with the mechanically switch capacitor and reactor, so all this system that is called as the SVS, static var compensator system. And you can see that how it is connected with the power system. So you can see that this is a high voltage bus. Consider this is a load bus. At this bus we require to maintain the voltage V. And here you can see that at the bus we connect this SVS system, TCR TSC plus filter. So here by using the PT potential transform, we measure the actual voltage and that given to the controller. Second input given to the controller is the V reference. So based on the difference between V reference and actual voltage of the load bus, the controller generate the error signal, and based on that generate the gate pulses for all these thyristor pair of TCR as well as TSC to absorb or inject the appropriate amount of the reactive power to maintain the voltage at the load bus near to the rated value. So whatever harmonic is generated by this controller, that is filtered out by this filter. So this is a typical static var system, or you can say the SVS, and this is a VI characteristic of SVS system. You can see that VI characteristic that is directly proportional to the voltage here, and voltage reactive characteristic, you can see that reactive power generated by this SVS system that is directly proportional to the square of the voltage. This voltage is nothing but a load bus voltage. So as the load bus voltage changes, reactive power is also changes. So for a small change in the load bus voltage, there is drastic change in the reactive power demand, because reactive power Q that is directly proportional to the square of the voltage in the inductive region as well as in the capacitive region. You can see that here also Q is directly proportional to the square of the voltage. So in the lagging mode as well as in the leading mode, the Q reactive power generation or absorption by the SVS system that is directly proportional to the square of the voltage. So this is the one of the drawback of the SVS, that because if sudden change in the voltage or small change in the voltage, that creates the large fluctuation in the reactive power injection and absorption of the in the system. So this is a typical SVS steady state characteristics. Now we understand that how this SVS or SVC that creates the impact in the voltage profile of this bus. So this is a 14 bus IEEE system, and this 14-3 IEEE bus system, this is a voltage profile without the fax devices. 1 per unit voltage, that is a rated value at all the buses, but at some buses you can see that voltage are below the 1 per unit. It means these buses are the load bus. So you can see that 4, 5, this 9, 10 and 14, they have voltage below the 1 per unit. So it means that these buses are the load bus. So at that buses we require the fax devices like this SVS for the voltage regulation or for the reactive power compensation. So now next we see that the graph of V was a loading parameter. Loading parameter here, this indicates that how much amount of power that can be transferred throughout this line. So you can see that 4, 5, 9 and 14 bus, these are the very highly loaded bus. So at that bus we first one by one connect the fax device and see that what is the impact of this fax device SVS into the voltage profile. So this is a PV curve for 14 bus test system without fax devices. So this is a PV curve. So you can see that as the loading parameter increases, it means that the load on the load bus that increases, or you can say that the power transfer on that particular bus that is increases. So as you can see that as the loading parameter is increases, the bus voltage is gradually reduces, and at some point after that if you increase the loading, that decreases drastically. You can see that after this point, the load bus voltage decreases drastically. So with the FACTS device or with SVC, you can see that this is a PV curve of 14 bus system with SVC that is connected at 14 bus. So here you can see that in this single line diagram of the IEEE 14 bus system, here this at 14 bus we connect the SVC. So you can see the impact of this SVC here, this blue line that indicate the graph of the 14 bus system. So you can see that without FACTS devices, this graph is this one, and maximum loading you can see that that is achieved at 0.7 per unit voltage. But here you can see that maximum loading that you can achieve at near to the 0.9 per unit voltage. It means that by using the FACTS devices, you can increase the loading of the bus without deterioration of the bus voltage or without reduction of the bus voltage. So this SVC at the 14 bus that maintain the voltage near to the 1 per unit, and as well as that increase the loading parameter, as well as that increase the loading of the bus, so that you can maintain the stability of the power system. If this voltage goes below a certain level, then your whole system may collapse and creates the voltage instability problems. So because of that, we require the SVC type of FACTS devices at highly loaded bus to maintain the voltage stability. So here you can see that this is the example that by connecting the SVC at 14 bus, you can maintain the voltage near to this 1 per unit or rated value for any load condition. You can see that at 0.5 loading condition or half load condition also you can maintain the voltage 1 per unit, and at 4 per unit, it means 4 times the rated load capacity of the bus, also you can maintain the voltage near to the 1 per unit. It is near to the 1 per unit because it is 0.9 or 0.92 per unit. So by this way, the SVC provide the voltage regulation or voltage support at a highly loaded bus. And this is the layout of the SVC substation. You can see that you know that the SVC that is connected in parallel with the load bus through the transformer. So you can see that this is a SVC transformer, and at the secondary side all these components are connected like thyristor control reactor. You can see that this is the thyristor control reactor, and this is a thyristor switch capacitor for all the 3 phases. Same way thyristor control reactor for all the 3 phases, and this is a thyristor valve house. This is a control room, and this is a harmonic filter which filter out all the harmonics which is generated by this thyristor switch capacitor as well as thyristor control reactor. So this is the actual layout of this static var compensator substation, and the single line diagram you can already see here. So this is the SVC substation. This is connected with the load bus, and at the secondary side all this TCR TSC is connected, and this is a filter to filter out the harmonics. Same way, this is a actual SVC substation for the which is connected at the load bus, highly loaded bus for the voltage regulation. So I hope you understand the concept of SVC. Next we discuss the STATCOM, static synchronous compensator. Now before going to discuss about the static synchronous compensator, we first understand the concept of synchronous condenser that we already discussed in the previous lecture. But the operating principle of the synchronous condenser is almost same like a static synchronous compensator. So we first understand the concept of static synchronous condenser. This is also one type of reactive power provider or voltage regulation device used for the voltage regulation. So synchronous condenser, as we know that this is a one type of synchronous machine that is running without a prime mover or any type of mechanical load. So that provides the reactive power injection or absorption depending upon the field excitation. So with the voltage regulator, it can automatically adjust the reactive power to maintain the constant voltage at the load bus. So started first it as an induction motor, then after it is synchronized with the system and work as a synchronous condenser. So normally it is connected with the tertiary winding of the transformers at the secondary side, And unlike the SVC, the synchronous condenser has an internal voltage because it is work as a synchronous machine. So that generate the internal voltage, and the response time of this synchronous condenser is not as fast as of the SVC because it is a rotating machine. So that takes time to give the response for the voltage regulation to provide the reactive power support at the load bus. You can see the single line diagram of the synchronous condenser here. So this is a system bus voltage V. At this load bus, you require to maintain the voltage near to the 1 per unit. So this is a synchronous machine or synchronous condenser that is connected with the load bus through this coupling transformer. And this is a reactance. This represents the machine synchronous reactance plus this transformer leakage reactance. So X, that is represent the reactance of this synchronous machine as well as leakage reactance of this coupling transformer. So the amount of the current flowing into this synchronous condenser or flow out from this synchronous condenser, that is decided based on the system bus voltage as well as the synchronous machine internal voltage. So this V, that is the system bus voltage, and this E, that is nothing but the amplitude of the voltage generated by this synchronous machine, and this X is nothing but this reactance of machine as well as this transformer. So the amount of current flowing into synchronous condenser as well as the direction of this current, that decided based on the magnitude of these two voltages V as well as E. So when this internal voltage of synchronous condenser, which is higher than the system bus voltage, so it means that your current is negative. Current is negative, it means that synchronous condenser that provide the leading reactive power to the system. It means that injects the reactive power into the system. So at that time, the synchronous condenser that is act as a capacitor mode. Exactly opposite, if the system bus voltage V, that is greater than the internal voltage of the synchronous condenser, at this time this current is positive. It means that synchronous condenser provides a lagging reactive power to the bus. It means that they absorb the reactive power from the system to maintain the voltage at the bus near to the 1 per unit. So by this way, this synchronous condenser provide the compensation. So now question is that how this increase or decrease the voltage? So by the excitation system of the synchronous machine, that can increase or decrease the value of E. Here we have not a control of the system bus voltage V, but we have a control of this E. So the internal voltage generated by this synchronous machine or synchronous condenser, that is decided or that is depends on the excitation. So if you over excite this synchronous machine, then the value of E that becomes higher than this bus voltage. So at that time they inject the voltage, and under excitation case this voltage E becomes less than this voltage V. So at that time synchronous condenser absorb the reactive power from the system. So by this way the synchronous condenser provide the voltage regulation, or we can say the reactive power compensation. So same way you can see that the equation of reactive power Q, that is nothing but I into V. So this I, when it is multiplied with the V, and if you take the common V from here, so this equation becomes 1 minus E divided by V divided by X into V square. So it means that here the reactive power injection and absorption by the synchronous condenser, that is depend upon the square of the bus voltage. This is same like a SVC. You can see that we have already seen the VI characteristic of the SVC. You can see that in that the reactive power injection and absorption, that is directly proportional to the square of the voltage. So same thing happen here also in the synchronous condenser also. But that is not happen in the next FACS device, which is called as the static synchronous compensator. So why we first understand this concept of synchronous condenser? Because the operating principle of synchronous condenser, that is almost same like a static synchronous compensator. So let's understand the next FACS device, that is called as a STATCOM. The full form of STATCOM is static synchronous compensator, or it also called as SSC. So STATCOM is a shunt connected reactive power compensation device, and that is capable of generating or absorbing reactive power in which the output can be varied to control the specific parameter of the electric power system. So here the specific parameter of the power system, that is nothing but a voltage. So generally we require to control the voltage at the load bus. So for that we have used this STATCOM. So based on the requirement of this control of the voltage at the load bus, this STATCOM generate or absorb the reactive power. It is in general a solid state switching converters and is capable of generating or absorbing independently controllable real and reactive power at its output terminal when it is fed from the energy source or energy storage devices at its input terminal. Voltage source converter, that from the given input of the DC voltage that produces a three-phase AC output voltage in each phase with and coupled to the corresponding AC system voltage through the relatively small reactance. So it means that STATCOM is a, you can see that built with the solid state switching converters, and this switching converter has a storage device. It may be a capacitor or it may be a battery, and this voltage source converter has an input DC voltage that convert DC into AC at the output side, and this three-phase AC output voltage in each phase that is synchronized and coupled with the AC bus voltage through the reactance, small reactance. It means through this coupling transformer you provide the output voltage of the voltage source converter to the system, power system. So now let's see the general single line diagram and understand the operating principle of this STATCOM. So you can see that here this is a load bus or utilities bus. At this bus you need to require to maintain the voltage near to the rated value. This is called ET. This is a magnetic coupling provided through the coupling transformer. This is a voltage source converter. We will discuss later on that why we use the voltage source converter in this STATCOM. So here the voltage source converter is provided, and this is same like a voltage source inverter that we have already learned in the previous semester. So this is a one type of inverter. You can see that at the input side there is a DC source that may be a battery or capacitor. So that is act as the input and convert this DC into three-phase AC at the output side, and through this coupling transformer the voltage generated by this voltage source converter injected into this load bus and provide the compensation. So now we understand that how this STATCOM provide the compensation. So the STATCOM is a control in the reactive power source. It provides the desired amount of the reactive power generation and absorption entirely by using the electronic processing of the voltage and current waveforms in the voltage source converters. So by exchanging the reactive power between the converter and the AC system, which can be controlled by varying the amplitude of the three-phase output voltage ES of the converters. So you can see that this voltage source converter output is ES. So by controlling the magnitude of this ES by changing the firing angle control of this thyristor of voltage source converter, we can inject or absorb the sufficient amount of the reactive power from the system to maintain the voltage at the load bus. So you can see that overall concept of the STATCOM is similar to this synchronous condenser. So here in the synchronous condenser you can see that this E that is controlled by this exciter. So based on the magnitude of E, which is higher than or lower than the system bus voltage, they inject or absorb the reactive power from the system. So same way here in the STATCOM, the output of this voltage source converter ES that is controlled by the firing angle control of this thyristor of voltage source converter, which is maybe higher than or lower than this terminal voltage. Based on that they inject or absorb the reactive power. So this concept is same like a synchronous condenser. If the value of STATCOM output voltage ES that is higher than this terminal voltage, it means that at that time this STATCOM inject the reactive power into the system through this coupling transformer. Same way, if the value of ES is lower than ET, So at that time this STATCOM absorb the reactive power from the system. So if the amplitude, same way, same explanations given here, if the amplitude of the output voltage is increased above the utility bus voltage, it means if ES higher than ET, then current flows through the reactance from the converter to the AC system, and the converter generates the capacitive reactive power to the system. It means that this converter acts as a capacitive reactive power mode and they inject the reactive power into the system. Exactly opposite, if the amplitude of the output voltage ES of the voltage source converter is decreased below the utility bus voltage ET, then the current flow, that is from AC system to the converter, and the converter absorbs the inductive reactive power from the AC system. So it means that if ET is greater than ES or ES is less than ET, at that time current is flowing from power system to this coupling transformer and this voltage source converter. So by this way, this STATCOM absorb the excess amount of the reactive power from the system. You can also see here in the vector diagram when ES is greater than ET. So at that time you can see that the supplies the reactive power, and ES is less than ET. You can see that at that time they absorb the reactive power from the system. And this is the equivalent circuit of the STATCOM. This is the each STATCOM voltage here. This is the reactance, coupling reactance of this coupling transformer, and this is a utility bus. Now if the output voltage which is equal to the AC system voltage, so at that time reactive power exchange becomes 0. So in which case the STATCOM is said to be a floating state. So it means that when the ET is equal to ES, at that time there is no exchange of the reactive power from this power system to this STATCOM. So at that time reactive power exchange is 0, and at that time the STATCOM is called as a in the floating state. So this STATCOM that is provide the desired reactive power by exchanging the instantaneous reactive power among the phases of the AC system. So depending upon the requirement of the reactive power in each phase, this STATCOM provides the desired reactive power at instantaneous level to the each phase of the AC system. And the mechanism by which this converter internally generate or absorb the reactive power, that can be understood by considering the relationship between the output and input power of these converters. So the converter switches, this voltage source converter switches, which connect the DC input circuit directly to the AC output circuit. So it means that the net instantaneous power at the AC output terminal of this VSC, that must be always equal to the net instantaneous power at the DC input terminal. So it means that we assume that the losses are neglected. If we assume that the switches are ideal, so whatever input power is provided through this DC energy source, same power you get at this AC side, and that AC power injected to the bus voltage. Now let's understand the characteristic of this STATCOM. So this characteristic that reveals the strength of this technology, that it is capable to providing the full output of capacitive generation and which is almost independent of the system voltage. You can see this VI characteristic in this capacitive mode here. For a fixed amount of capacitive current is provided, that is the maximum capacity of the STATCOM to provide the capacitive reactive current. And you can see that at this point of time also the voltage at the load bus which is near to the 1 per unit, but that is not possible in case of SVC. If you see the SVC characteristic, we will later on discuss the comparison between SVC and STATCOM. So at that time you understand that the STATCOM that provide the better voltage regulation or provide the better stability to the system against any disturbance in the load bus, because in the STATCOM, the capacitive mode, the maximum amount of the capacitive reactive power provided, that is independent of the system voltage. It means if the system voltage is changes drastically higher or lower than the rated value, then there is no impact on the reactive power provided by the STATCOM. So it means that it is capable to provide the full output capacitive generation and is almost independent of the system voltage. So this capability is particularly useful for the situation in which the STATCOM is needed to support the system voltage during and after the fault where voltage collapse that will create the limiting factor. So STATCOM is useful when during the fault, during the severe fault or after the fault where the voltage is collapsed drastically, and at that time we require to maintain the voltage near to the 1 per unit. So that is possible by using the STATCOM, because in the SVC, if the voltage is reduces drastically, so at that time the reactive power injection capacity of the SVC that is also reduces, because Q is directly proportional to the square of the voltage in the SVC. But here in the STATCOM, you can see that for any voltage condition, the STATCOM provides the fixed amount of the maximum capacitive reactive power to this load bus. So you can see that at this point of time also they provide the IC max. At this 0.75 voltage also they provide the maximum current IC max. So it means for any loading condition they provide the maximum amount of the capacitive power to maintain the voltage near to the load bus. So the maximum attainable transient overcurrent in the capacitive region that is determined by the maximum current turn-off capability of the converter switches. So in this voltage source converter, we use the thyristor. In the voltage source converter, generally we use the GTO or IGBT, because here we require the switches which has a turn-off capability. So here we not use the thyristors. So in the GTO or IGBT, this type of semiconductor devices has a limitation that we cannot flow the maximum current above its rated capacity. So the maximum capacitive current drawn from this system of the STATCOM that is determined based on the maximum current turn-off capability of the converter switches, which is IGBT or GTO in the voltage source converter of the STATCOM. So the maximum transient overcurrent in the capacitive region, it means in this region, is determined by the maximum current turn-off capability of the converter switches. So this is our limitation of this STATCOM, but you can see that the transient rating of this STATCOM, which is higher than the SVC. We see later on the comparison between SVC and STATCOM. At that time, we discussed that the transient rating provided by the STATCOM for a short period of time, which is higher than the SVC transient rating. So it means that for a short period of time, the STATCOM provides the high amount of compensation as compared to this SVC. So in the inductive region, same way you can also see that these converter switches are naturally commutated, because in the SVC, in the voltage source converter, the GTO or IGBT that is naturally commutated. Therefore, this transient current rating of the STATCOM that is limited by the maximum allowable junction temperature of the converter switches. So this is also higher as compared to the SVC. So transient rating that indicates that for how much time your STATCOM provides the overloading capacity in the inductive mode as well as in the capacitive mode. So actually this is the maximum capacitive current capacity of the STATCOM, but for a short period of time, like for less than 1 second, the transient rating of the STATCOM is this one. So it means that for extremely high loading condition, if this STATCOM requires the high amount of the reactive power injection, so at that time you can use the transient rating capacity of the STATCOM and provide the voltage regulation. Same way in the inductive mode also, if very light loading condition happens in the bus, so you require to absorb the excess amount of the reactive power. So actual limitation is that this IL max current, but for a short period of time like t less than 1 second, you can absorb the high amount of the reactive power from the system to maintain the voltage which is near to this 1 per unit. So we'll discuss later on that this transient rating of the STATCOM which is higher than the SVC. So for extremely light loading or high loading conditions, STATCOM provide the voltage support. Now let's understand the design of the STATCOM and different components of this STATCOM. So first main component of this STATCOM is voltage source converter. So voltage source converter that is used to convert the DC input voltage to AC output voltage, as you already see in the single line diagram. So there are two common type of the VSC we use. One is the square wave type and another is a PWM inverter type VSC we use. So in the square wave type of the inverter, we use the gate turn off thyristor like GTO or IGBT. In this type of VSC, the output AC voltage that is controlled by changing the DC capacitor input voltage, as the fundamental component of the converter output voltage is proportional to the DC voltage. So it means that here the square wave VSC, the output voltage, AC voltage is a square wave type, and the magnitude of this output voltage, AC output voltage, that is depend upon the magnitude of the DC capacitor voltage or DC source voltage. So as you change the input DC voltage, the output AC voltage is changed. So to control the AC output voltage, you need to change the DC input voltage of this capacitor. Second type of VSCs we can use in the STATCOM, that is a PWM inverter, which uses the IGBT as a switch, and it uses the pulse width modulation techniques to create the sinusoidal waveform from a DC voltage source with a typical chopping frequency of few kilohertz, in a contrast to the GTO based type. The IGBT based VSC utilize the fixed DC voltage, and that varies the output voltage by changing the modulation index of this PWM modulator. So the difference between square wave and this PWM based inverter is that here the AC output voltage that is controlled by controlling the DC input voltage, but here in the case of PWM based inverter, the input DC voltage is remain fixed, but the output voltage that is controlled by the pulse width modulation techniques, modulation index. So this is a second type of VSC, and third type of the VSC that is called as a space vector modulation. So here we not discuss the theory of this space vector modulation, but you can understand that, you can remember that there are three types of voltage source converter we can use in the STATCOM. First one is a voltage source converter based on the square wave type, in which we use the GTO as a switch. Second is a PWM inverter based VSC, in which we use the IGBT as a switch, and we use the pulse width modulation techniques to control the output AC voltage. And third one is the space vector modulation. So this is a voltage source converter which we have used in the STATCOM device. Second component of the STATCOM, that is a DC capacitor, that is act as a DC voltage source. You can see here in this figure, this is a DC capacitor. So this DC capacitor is used to supply the constant DC voltage to this voltage source converter. So this is a function of DC capacitor, and here we understand that what are the different types of PWM techniques, or what are the different types of voltage source converter that can be used in the STATCOM. So there are different types of modulation techniques that is developed in the multi-level converters. So here this voltage source converter, that is not a simple voltage source inverter. This is a one type of multi-level voltage source inverter or voltage source converter, in which different types of PWM technique we use. So first one we discussed already, that square wave. So that gives the output like square wave AC output voltage. So obviously in this case harmonics are higher as compared to the sinusoidal pulse width modulation techniques. So this SPWM techniques, it means this is the PWM technique, second type of the VSC, in which we use the IGBT as a switch. And third one is the space vector modulation. So this multi-level type of the converter that creates the interest in the high power drives as well as in the static reactive power compensator and active filter. So this type of VSC we use for AC drive also, AC filter, as well as in the STATCOM for the static reactive power compensation. So this type of multi-level converter has several advantages over the conventional two-level type of the converters that uses the high switching frequency and with the pulse width modulation techniques. So we first summarize the some attractive features of this multi-level voltage source converters or voltage source inverters. So first feature of this multi-level converter is that provide the staircase type of the waveform. It means that your output voltage of the converter that is near to the sinusoidal quantity. So it means that it contains the less harmonics. So you require the small size of the filter. So multi-level converter not only generate the output voltage with very low distortion. Very low distortion means less harmonics, but also that can reduce the dV by dt stresses on this semiconductor devices. So that you need to select the, so you can select the low rated capacity of this semiconductor devices in your multi-level inverters. Input current, multi-level converter that can draw the input current that is also with the low distortion. It means with the less harmonic. Then switching frequency, the multi-level converter that can operate at both fundamental frequency, it means at 50 Hz, as well as that can operate at high frequency in the pulse width modulation techniques. It should be noted that the lower switching frequency that usually means lower switching loss and higher efficiency. So if you operate your multi-level converter at fundamental frequency or at low frequency, so that also decrease the switching losses. It means that increase the efficiency of the system. But at the same time, that also increase the harmonics. So if you want to decrease the harmonic, then you can operate your converter, multi-level converter at high switching frequency and use the PWM techniques so that you can reduce the harmonic. But at the same time, because of high switching frequency, switching losses become high and efficiency of your converter is reduces. So overall efficiency of the STATCOM is also reduced. So based on your requirement, you can select the switching frequency of the switches. So this is a one type of multi-level converter. This is called as a three-phase, three-level diode clamp multi-level inverter. We're not going into detail about this because this is not in your syllabus. Here we just understand the concept of the STATCOM. So you can understand that what are the component of the STATCOM, what are the different types of VSC we can use in the STATCOM. So this is a one configuration of the voltage source converter. This is a three-phase, three-level diode clamp multi-level inverters. Same way, this is a two-phase diode clamp multi-level inverter, and this is a switching sequence based on the output voltage VAB, that is the output voltage of this multi-level inverter. VDC by 2, VDC by 2, that is the input voltage. Here this is a terminal voltage VA0, VA0 that is grounded, VB0 that is a B terminal with respect to ground terminal, and this represents the switching instant switch position on or off. 0 means off, 1 means on. So based on the on and off position of this switch, there are 8 switches. So based on the on and off condition of the switch, that generate the different voltage level. You can see that at this position of the switch, that generate the output voltage VAB 0. At this position of the switch, that generate the minus VDC by 2, and at this position that generate the minus VD. Same way, at this position that generate the plus VDC by 2, and at this level that generate the VDC. So you can see that increase the voltage in a step manner. First 0 voltage, then VDC by 2, then VD, then VDC by 2, 0, then minus VDC by 2, then VDC. So because of that increase the voltage in a step-like manner, the output voltage that becomes near to the sinusoidal, it means that that contains the less harmonics as compared to the square wave type of the voltage source converters. So as you increase the number of level, so you can see this is the 5 level diode clamp inverter. So as you increase the number of level, the stepwise increase of the voltage level that decreases, it means that your output voltage look like near to the sine wave. So you can see here in this 5 level diode clamp inverter there are 5 level of the voltage. First is the 0, VDC by 2, VDC by 4, then minus VDC by 2, minus VDC by 4. So there are 5 levels. So as the number of level is increases, the output voltage that is look like near to the sine wave. So you can see here, this is a 5 level inverter output voltage. This is a reference line. So you can see that here there are 2 levels. One that is near to the 500 volt, and this is a 1000 volt, then again 500 volt, then 0 volt, then minus 500 and minus 1000. So based on as compared to the square wave output, this waveform look like near to the sinusoidal. So it means this waveform contains the less harmonics. So as you increase this number of levels of small voltages, the output voltage becomes near to the sine wave, so that contains the less harmonic. So in that case you require the multi-level inverter like 5 level inverter, 7 level inverter, 13 level inverter. So as you increase the level, the output becomes more and more sinusoidal. So the advantage of this 5 level diode clamp inverter we have discussed here. So as the large number of levels, so the harmonics distortion becomes less, and all the phases that share the common DC voltage, the reactive power flow that can be controlled because you change the voltage in a step, number of step with a small voltage level. So you can control the reactive power very effectively. High efficiency for fundamental switching frequency, because as the switching frequency is low, then switching losses are less. So overall efficiency of the converter is high. And this type of inverter that is relatively simple control method that we have used. Disadvantage that different voltage rating for clamping diode are required. So you can see that here we require these diodes. So all these diodes we require the different voltage rating. So this is the one disadvantage of this multi-level inverter. Real power flow is difficult because of the capacitor imbalance. So you cannot flow the real power flow in this type of multi-level inverter. Need of high voltage rating diodes to block the reverse voltage. So this is another disadvantage. The number of switches, capacitor, diodes required in the circuits that increases the number of output voltage level. So it means as you increase the level, 2 level, 3 level, 5 level, the number of diodes, you can see that here in the 5 level, the number of diodes, capacitor and switches that is very high as compared to this 2 level, 2 phase diode clamp inverter. Clear? So as you increase the number of levels, the number of switches, capacitor and diode that increases, and ultimately that increases the cost of the multi-level converter. So this is a drawback. Now you can easily see the concept of this multi-level inverter output voltage and compare with the sinusoidal. So as you increase the level, you can see that your output voltage, this blue, that is the output voltage of multi-level inverters, and if you compare with the pure sine wave, so that is near to this pure sine wave, it means the harmonic contained in this waveform is less as compared to the square wave output. So generally we use this type of logic in this multi-level inverter that we already discussed in the bipolar and unipolar PWM techniques. So this is a concept of unipolar PWM techniques to generate the gate pulse. So you can see that we compare the two sine wave, positive and negative, with the high frequency triangular wave. So based on the fundamental magnitude of this sine wave, if higher than this triangular wave, at that time they generate the pulses. Same way exactly opposite for this negative pulse. So based on that they generate the gate pulse and provide the output voltages. So this is a output voltage which is provided by the SPWM techniques. So this is all about the voltage source converter we have discussed. So next component is the inductive reactance. So that inductive reactance, that is nothing but a transformer which is connected between the output of the VSC and power system. So third component, inductive reactance in the statecom, that represent the transformer leakage reactance. So you can see that that is connected between the output of this voltage source converter and power system. Fourth component, that is a harmonic filter, that is required to filter out the harmonics which is generated by this voltage source multi-level converters. So that is filter out, and after filter out this harmonics, the output voltage is injected into the power system through this coupling transformer. So you can see that the electrical equivalent circuit of the statecom, which is connected with the power system. So the system voltage V2 we require to maintain at this bus. For that, here we connect the statecom. This is the statecom, and it is the equivalent circuit that is represented as a variable inverter output voltage. So this variable output voltage V1 that represent the voltage source converter that vary the output voltage depending upon the requirement of the system. So that it can inject or absorb the amount of the reactive power. So if the system voltage is decreases because of high loading condition, at that time this voltage source converter output voltage becomes higher than this system voltage. It means V1 becomes higher than V2. So this statecom or this converter that injects the reactive power or that provides a leading current to the system, so that maintain the voltage at the load bus near to this rated value. Same way exactly opposite, if lightly loading condition or no load condition at this bus, so voltage becomes above the 1 per unit, like 1.2 or 1.3 per unit. So statecom requires absorb the excess amount of the reactive power from the system. So at that time this voltage source converter output voltage is decreases as compared to the V2. It means V1 less than V2. So at that time this statecom absorb the reactive power from the system and maintain the voltage at the load bus near to the 1 per unit. Next, this source V1, as we have seen in this figure, this source V1 of this statecom that represent the output voltage of the statecom. So in case of the reactive power demand increases, that we already discussed, that as it increases in the power system, the statecom increases output voltage V1 to maintain the phase difference between V1 and V2 to 0. So it means that in case of the reactive power demand increases, the statecom output voltage increases. So maintain the phase difference between V1 and V2 0 and increase the voltage level V1 more than V2. So it means that they inject the reactive power into the system. So it is noted that they always exist the small angle difference between V1 and V2. So generally the voltage angle difference between V1 and V2, that is 0. It means suppose V1 is operated at 30 angle and system bus voltage V2 is also 30 degree. But generally there is small difference is provided in the phase angle between V1 and V2 to cater the leakage impedance drop in the interconnected transformer. So there is not exactly zero difference between the V1 and V2 angle, but in practical case there is small difference is provided to provide the compensation against the leakage impedance drop in the interconnecting transformer. So as the V1 is become more than V2, the reactive power will flow from statecom to the power system. Thus the statecom supplies the reactive power and acts as the reactive power generator. So that is the case when we require to inject the reactive power into the system. Exactly opposite, if the voltage of the power system, it means V2, that is increases due to the load throw off, it means light loading condition or no load condition, STATCOM will reduce its output voltage V1 and therefore it will absorb the reactive power to stabilize the voltage to the normal value. So this type of mode of STATCOM, that is called as a voltage regulation mode. So as we know that the every equipment has got their own limitation. So STATCOM also has some limitation of supplying or absorbing the reactive power. Yes, so this limitation is imposed by this current carrying capacity of the force commutated devices like IGBT and GTO. So as we already discussed in the VI characteristic of the STATCOM, that the IGBT and GTO that has a maximum current carrying capacity. So up to that level we can inject the current in the system by using the voltage source converter. Therefore, if the operation of the STATCOM that reaches their limitation, then it does not further increase or decrease its output voltage V1, rather it supply or absorb the fixed amount of the reactive power equal to its limiting value at a fixed voltage and current. So at that time it is act like a constant current source. So this mode of operation of the STATCOM, that is called as the VAR control mode. So as you can see here in the VI characteristic, here in the capacitive mode, at this point to this point the voltage is vary. So this mode of operation of the STATCOM, that is called as a voltage regulating mode. So at that time this STATCOM inject or absorb the reactive power. Capacitive mode that inject the reactive power, and this inductive mode that absorb the reactive power. But at the limitation of the current carrying capacity or GTO or IGBT, you can see that at this point the STATCOM that is work as a reactive power control mode or VAR control mode, because GTO or IGBT has a maximum current carrying capacity limit. So after that this STATCOM is not able to increase the current from the STATCOM into the power system or through the power system. So you can see that here it is act as a constant VAR control mode or constant current source. You can see that here. Again read this sentence. If the operation of the STATCOM reaches the limitation, it does not further increase or decrease its output voltage V1, rather it supplies or absorbs fixed reactive power equal to its limiting value at a fixed voltage and current and acts like a constant current source. So you can see here in this VI characteristic, at this point, at the limiting point of the STATCOM, it is act as a constant current source, because at this level the STATCOM reaches the current limitation of the IGBT and STATCOM. So that's why at this point it is work as a constant current source. Same way here in the inductive mode also, at this time it is also act as a constant current source, or you can say that VAR control mode. So there are two different modes of STATCOM. One is the voltage regulation mode and VAR control mode or reactive power control mode. So voltage regulation mode, that is nothing but this point to this point, and VAR control mode is this constant current mode or constant current source here, this one. So let's see the VI characteristic of the STATCOM. So STATCOM, as we see that supply both the capacitive and inductive compensation, and that is able to provide independent control of its output current over its rated maximum capacity or inductive range, irrespective of the amount of the AC system voltage. So you can see that here in the capacitive mode as well as in the inductive mode, the reactive power provided by this STATCOM that is not depend upon the system voltage or this terminal voltage. So based on the requirement, you can see that the STATCOM provide the maximum amount of the reactive power for any bus voltage condition. Whereas in the SVC, you can see that as the voltage of the system is decreases, then you can see that the reactive power injection or capacitive current provided by the SVC, that is also decreases drastically. but that is not happen in case of statecom because the capacitive reactive power provided by the statecom is independent of the system voltage. So for any system voltage or any load bus voltage, the statecom provide the fixed amount of the reactive power to the system to maintain the voltage near to the rated value. So this is the advantage of using the statecom as compared to the SVC. So second advantage you can see in the figure, the statecom has increased the transient rating in both the capacitive and inductive region as compared to the SVC. So this capability of the statecom that is particularly useful in the situation where the statecom is needed to support the system voltage during and after the fault, where voltage is collapsed and that creates the unprecedented effect on the power system like blackout of the system or instability of the power system. So in this type of situation, the statecom provide the voltage support for high severe fault condition where the voltage is collapsed very low as compared with rated value. So you can see in this characteristic of the statecom, for a short period of time the transient rating is provided in the capacitive mode as well as in the inductive mode. So this transient rating that becomes higher than this SVC transient rating, and this maximum transient rating provided by this statecom in the capacitive region, that is determined by the maximum current turn off capability of the converter switches. So that is depend upon the current rating of the GTO and IGBT. And the inductive region, the converter switches are naturally commutated. So the transient current rating of the statecom in the inductive region, that is limited by the maximum allowable junction temperature of the converter switches. So each switches, you know that each semiconductor switches are designed based on the particular temperature. So you can extend the transient rating in the inductive region up to its junction temperature. So this is a junction temperature limitation. Up to this limit you can absorb the amount of the reactive power from the system in the inductive region, and in this region you can inject the amount of the reactive power to the system depending upon the maximum current turn off capability of the switches. So because of that, you can see that the transient rating in both the region, capacitive and inductive region, that is more than SVC. The statecom provides a wide range of control for sudden disturbance in the system. So this is the second advantage of statecom as compared to this SVC. So in practice, generally we know that the semiconductor switches of the converters that are not a lossless devices, because when switch on and off, that create the switching losses. So energy stored in the DC capacitor in the statecom, that is eventually used to meet the internal losses of the converters. So whatever losses, switching losses happens in the semiconductor devices in the converters, that loss is compensated by the DC capacitor voltage. But at the same time, to compensate this losses, the voltage of the DC capacitor that is reduces or diminishes. So when the statecom is used for the reactive power generation, the converter itself that can keep the capacitor charged to the required voltage level. So this task that is accomplished by making the output voltage of the converters lag behind the AC system voltage by a small angle, that is usually by 0.18 to 0.28 range. So what is the meaning of this sentence? That generally the semiconductor devices, we assume the losses are negligible or zero, but actually losses happen in the converter because of high switching frequency. So these losses, compensate these losses, we require the power. So this power, active power, we get from the DC capacitor, but at the same time what will happen when the DC capacitor compensate these losses, at that time the DC capacitor voltage is reduces. So during the operation of the STATCOM, during the operation of the voltage source converter, that requires a certain level of the voltage to get the particular output at the VSC. So to maintain the voltage in the DC capacitor up to a certain level, as well as to provide the compensation to the switching loss, we have to provide the some output voltage at the converter which is lagged behind the AC bus voltage by a small angle between the 0.18 to 0.28 range, so that what will happen, active power that is flow from the AC system to the STATCOM. So this active power that will charge your DC capacitor and maintain the voltage to a certain level, so that this converter absorb the small amount of the real power from the AC system and that meet the internal losses and keep the capacitor voltage at the desired level. So if you have give the detailed explanation from this figure, so what is the meaning of this sentence? So in the single line diagram of the STATCOM, we have seen that depending upon the magnitude of the voltage ES and ET, we can inject and absorb the reactive power. So we know that reactive power injection and absorption that is depend upon the magnitude of the voltage. Same way, the active power transfer between the system and STATCOM that depend upon the angle difference between the voltage of ET and ES. So if we require some real power to charge this DC capacitor, so for that we have to maintain this ES voltage some degree lag behind the voltage of ET, and this angle difference is just 0.18 to 0.28 degree, so that the small amount of real power is transferred from power system to the STATCOM, because as you know that the real power is transferred from higher angle to lower angle. So if the angle of ES is smaller than ET, then and then real power is flow from this power system to the STATCOM. That's why the output voltage of the VSC, that angle is somewhat degree lag behind the angle of this voltage ET, so that we can absorb the real power from the system and maintain the voltage at the DC capacitor to the certain level, so that we can compensate the switching loss of this converter, as well as we can maintain the required output voltage at the voltage source converter. So this is the concept of real power transfer from system to STATCOM for maintaining the DC bus voltage. So here you can find that STATCOM not only transfer the reactive power, but that also transferred or absorb the real power from the system to maintain the capacitor or source bus voltage to the particular level to maintain the output voltage of the converters. So this is the another advantage of using the STATCOM, that is not only transferring the reactive power, but that also exchange the real power also with the system. So now next point is that depending upon the power rating of the STATCOM, we have different technologies for the power converters. So for the high power STATCOM, like in several hundred MVArs, normally we use the GTO based square wave type of voltage source converters. And if the rating is lower power STATCOM, like in tens of MVAR, like 10 MVAR, 20 MVAR, at that time we use the IGBT type pulse width modulation VSC or voltage source converter in your STATCOM. So there are two different technology we use in the converter. One is the GTO based voltage source converter and another is the IGBT based PWM techniques voltage source converters. Now same like a SVC here we use the IEEE 14 bus system. In that we use the STATCOM for the voltage regulations. So let's see that what is the impact of this STATCOM in the load bus 14 for the voltage regulation. So you can see that this is the PV curve for bus number 4, 5, 9 and 14, because all these 4 bus are the load bus. Here in this 14 bus system we have connected the STATCOM at bus number 14 to provide the voltage regulation. So now you can see that this blue line here, this one, you can see that this is the PV curve of the bus number 14, and this is a constant because here we connect the STATCOM at bus number 14. So for any load condition, the STATCOM maintain the load bus voltage near to this 1 per unit. So you can see that as compared to the SVC, STATCOM provides the voltage regulation for any load condition up to the 4 times higher than its rated capacity also. You can see that this loading parameter at 4 per unit, it means that at load bus 14, the load is 4 times higher than its capacity, and because of that the voltage is decreases without fax devices. But here we connect the STATCOM, so with this high loading capacity also the bus voltage is maintained at near to the 1 per unit. So this is because of the STATCOM. Now we compare with the SVC. You can see that this is a PV curve, this blue line that is a PV curve that is with SVC, this red line that is a PV curve for the base case, it means without any fax devices, and this green line that shows the PV curve for STATCOM when it is connected with the 14 bus system. So you can compare this SVC and STATCOM PV curve at 14 bus. You can see that STATCOM maintain the constant voltage throughout this loading condition near to this 1 per unit, but you can see that SVC, this blue line, after some loading condition the voltage are decreases and becomes below the 1 per unit. So it means that the SVC has some limitation providing the compensation, but STATCOM has wide range of control so that they provide the compensation for any load condition. So this is the advantages of STATCOM as compared to this SVC. So this type of graph you can get in the PSET software. We will discuss in the next lecture. We have one practical on this also, where we can see that the effect of fax devices to improving the voltage profile as well as to improving the loading capacity of the transmission line. So you can graphically also see in this graph the maximum loading provided by this STATCOM as compared to this SVC as well as base case. So maximum loading point means that the loading of the line is increases. So at the base case you can load your line up to this limit or load your bus up to this limit, but with the SVC up to this 4 times, and STATCOM which is more or higher than this SVC loading capacity. So by using the STATCOM you can provide the more loading on the bus and maintain the voltage at that load bus near to the rated value. So this is a comparison between base case, SVC and STATCOM. In the next lecture we discuss the detailed comparison of STATCOM and SVC. So you can understand how the STATCOM is differ as compared to the SVC for the voltage regulation or for the reactive power compensation. I hope you understand this concept of STATCOM, advantages of STATCOM, comparison, some comparison point of STATCOM, in which we see that STATCOM becomes advantages as compared to the SVC. Thank you.